coming to get you, Helms.
You ready?
I'm so ready.
All right.
Ready.
Okay. What's happening, guys? It's your boy Matt Ogus here with the one and only Eric Helms. Most recently, Eric Helms is extremely popular for being the main author of the ebook that I've been kind of advertising and pushing that you guys definitely go out and read. It's can you introduce us quickly?
Sure.
What this ebook is?
Yeah, it's basically a way of organizing the hierarchy of what's important. It's called the Muscle and Strength Pyramids. There's one for nutrition, one for training, and they're unique in that it's not just a bunch of information. It gives you a hierarchy so you can understand where your priorities lie.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you could tell me if you think this is the case too. There's so much information out there, but there's no way of telling what's more important than what else, how you order it, how you actually apply it. So that was something I'm trying to do with these books, and myself and Andy Morgan and Andrea Valdez put these together.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, I am not the author or any author of the product that I've been telling you guys to go get at Oguspyramid.com. Oguspyramid.com is simply a quick way of telling you a simple place to where you can go get it. So it's easier to say that than, oh, you should buy Eric Helms's
You know what it's called?
to tell you the full name of the thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so much easier. I don't even know what the damn thing's called.
It's at least 6
just
words.
So much easier for me to say Ogus Pyramid. Ogus Pyramid. But it practically is 2 syllables. Ogus Pyramid. So it's just so much easier for me to basically take you to a place where
How's
you're
your
gonna
English
learn
literature degree doing?
everything. I got an A+ in my AP Lit.
You almost said biology there.
I almost said bio. I got an A in AP Bio too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent work.
I got an A in both, and I passed.
great.
And I passed the AP test.
You were doing great. Yeah.
All right, guys. So on Instagram, I asked you to ask us a bunch of questions. So we're gonna take this little interview that we're doing right now and break it into 5 to 10 minute segments. So this is part 1, and we'll get started with a question that was one of the first. Plus, I think it's a really good question that you might want to answer, Eric. What do you think of Matt's decision, so my decision, to self-coach during his contest prep?
Well, to be honest, I think, I've taught at schools for personal trainers. I do a lot of continuing education for coaches and trainers. And one thing I tell trainers is that your job is to empower an athlete. So it's not to just give them the bare minimum or be a dictator and show them like, hey, here's what to do, but not why or how. Your job is to give them tools, be a mentor.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that you can coach yourself out of a job, or at least the role should change. Like, would you say like in 2011, we were really kind of trying to teach you some things? Like, you weren't aware of what protein, carbs, and fat were. You didn't really understand it was overload.
Yeah.
And then 2013 was trying to, okay, we've learned those tools. Let's get a little more flexibility with it. Let's freestyle them more. And now you're at the point where, if anything, you could, if you wanted to, you could use me as a resource rather than me driving the car and you're in the front seat with me going, hey, where do you want to turn here? What's the best call? I think, we've always taken a collaborative approach, and that's what I do as a coach. But I think it is a good step to do this as much as you can on your own, and I think you're going to learn a lot from it. And of course, you always know if you need help, I'm an email away. So I do think that the relationship should change over time, and I think it's something that personal trainers and coaches should try to do more of, is focus on empowering their athletes. And if the athlete feels they're capable of handling it on their own, that's a good thing.
I love this guy. Such a good guy. Anyways, I like just how he and 3D Muscle Journey and a lot of the coaches that I kind of put in the same group as 3D Muscle Journey in terms of just their integrity is like they actually try to teach people how to fish. They don't just give people the hey, just do this, and I'm not going to tell you why. But I think a really good coach is someone that can turn their client into a coach, and not just into someone that just starts selling meal plans and that kind of coach, but like a real, like you turn your client into someone that can teach it and pass it forward, whether you're getting paid or you're just helping people for free. So let's pick the next question real quick, and we'll probably answer just 2 more in this little segment, or this little video right here. All right, this one's from Ramendi. Thanks for asking this question. What does one do when he binges and his weight goes up? And in order to bring it back down, what would you do?
ASAP.
To do it ASAP, he wants to know.
Well, I'm going to answer like I often do, probably the question that you should be asking, not the one you actually asked. When you binge, it's not, I understand, like, you know, you're seeing your hard work go away, you're worried that you've sabotaged your progress, but the reality is that's the real coaching point, that's the real thing you need to become self-aware of, is why am I binging? What is it about the approach that I'm taking that's leading me towards unhealthy behavior? And, you know, whether the diet is maybe too aggressive, not flexible enough, or whether you might be doing this for the wrong reasons, or whether you don't really know why you're doing it. You never actually asked yourself, you know, what am I doing? What's the real motivation behind this? You really have to understand what you're doing and why. And then you should try not to just simply cut very hard. I mean, the fastest way to get back in shape would be to, like, you know, don't eat anything, just fast the whole day. But of course, that would just lead to another binge. And a lot of people get stuck in these binge purge cycles, and that's especially common after contest prep, when they think they have to have a really slow, gradual return to, you know, the off season, and that becomes a vicious cycle. So my advice would be to look inward, try to figure out what might have caused me to binge in the first place, and address that, rather than just hopping on a quick cut diet. It would just cause another one.
Very good answer.
I win again.
Can I elaborate on that?
Oh yeah, pause. So Andrea had an add-on question to that question, and it was, let's say you're prepping someone like me or anyone for a bodybuilding show, and you do a front carb load, which is where you would introduce carbs pretty early on in the week to kind of fill someone out for a show. But let's say you just hit him way too hard, way too many carbs, and he feels like he's totally spilled over. He looks in the mirror and he's like he's all, I'm watery and everything.
Yeah.
What would the protocol be to kind of get him to?
Well, that's actually the beauty of a front load. So the two types of, well, the most common types of going into a show are either a front load or a back load. The back load is where you just do that once, right on like Friday, the night before the show. The front load is where you do that early in the week, and then you make the next load based on how you look. So for example, that early load spills you over, and you do a very moderate load, or maybe even you don't load that much more. You just have them slightly higher than their low days, just keep them at maintenance, so that they still keep that fullness, but clean up and then look tighter. So for example, let's say you looked a lot worse after one day of high carb eating on, say, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Thursday and Friday, you would probably go very moderate. Take a look at yourself Friday night. You start to look better and you're on point. Awesome. You know, your Saturday plan can be still aggressive. If you're still spilled over, then you just have a very kind of not too aggressive Saturday plan.
Okay. I like that.
So it's salvageable, and that's why I like front loads, because they're dynamic.
Would you? Okay, so let's just say someone's like not even that lean to begin with. He has a bodybuilding show, and you're trying to decide, am I going to front load this guy or back load this guy?
I would.
First of all, as a coach, what are you thinking? Because you know he's not that lean. As a client or as a person that's doing the show, what's your best case of going towards that show when you're really not even lean enough in the first place?
Well, first there'd be a conversation months prior to that of, so are you aware that this is probably not going to get you in shape? You don't have enough time. We can do the show if you want. It'll be a good stage experience, but you need to have realistic expectations. I mean, anytime I work with someone, I don't want them to be on a different page than I am. I want them to, I mean, that's a very common mistake. People start too heavy and too late to try to get ready for a show, you know. So from the get-go, I would be like, hey, you know, just to manage the expectations, we can do the show, but you're not going to be in the kind of shape where you'd be, you know, winning it or do really well. And then I wouldn't peak for it at all, because at peak week you're spending sometimes up to 5 days above maintenance calories if you're doing a really aggressive load. So I would diet right through it. Maybe just put their refeed on the day of or the day prior to the show that they would normally have, and then just keep dieting. And you know, if they were going to do further shows, talk them into, yeah, we should just use this as some stage experience, motivation, and then pick a show with enough time for you to get lean.
Cardio, thoughts?
People are just terrible.
All right, guys, tune into the next one. We will be back in a day or two, and we'll have 3 or 4 or 5 more questions in the next video, and a few more sequels to this as well. So we'll be right back. See you guys in the next video. This is Eric Helms, 3D Muscle Journey. Andrew's over there.
Give us the fingers.
Jeff's over there.
Andrew fingers. A little more. There,
Give him some fingers.
Jeff Albert's fingers.
That's his finger.
Such a jacked finger.
We'll see you soon.